Welcome to the Game Lore Archives. Today we'll be doing another explained episode, and if you've read the title, you'll probably work out that we are talking about Journey. It was a game that came out quite early in the PlayStation 3's life cycle. It's an absolutely stunning game with an amazing soundtrack. Now, the game itself is only about an hour and a half, so as you've probably told by the timestamp, that means the episode's pretty short. However, the lore itself can be broken down quite easily into three parts. First is what happened to the cause of civilization to crumble and the desert to retake it. The second part is what the player character is doing, and lastly, what the ending means.
As you progress through the game, the player comes across stones which the ancient race uses to impart visions. They teach you what happened in the past. The mountain gave life to the world, and the race of people we meet came into being. It also gave life to the red cloth. Now, the red cloth contains power, and the race used this power to create their cities and other structures. Life flourished at the time, and with the power in the red cloth that was harnessed. The race reached their peak, but was soon to fall. The red cloth began to fade away, and soon there was not much left. The race fought over the cloth, and as they fought, they broke it. The cloth began to fade, and with the power becoming scarce, the race started to fight over it. Soon war and destruction broke out. Huge engines, flying and serpent-like, devoured the cloth to power themselves and fight the civil war the race had started. Soon the race had been wiped out, killed by their own greed. The sand moved in on the great cities and took it back to desert. All that was left of the race were the memory stones and single stone poles that mark where the dead lay. The monsters that were created for the war began to crumble with no source of power, but some do still survive to hunt the desolate places of the world.
However, there was hope left to the world, and the light that remained created a saviour like no other, who would restore life to the world. The actions the saviour takes appears to have been predicted. All that is left for you to do is climb to the top of the mountain and find what awaits. Interesting, we're never told to go to the mountain. It's the focal point in the skyline for the majority of game, and so the saviour progresses towards it. As they go, they restore light and power to the red cloth they find, and release the monsters that have broken into ruin. There are many red cloth creatures the saviour encounters, from small single bits of cloth to large floating mushrooms, and even a red cloth whale. Or two. I can't remember how many there are. There's a couple. The cloth also creates plant life as well, as it grows from the ground and can be used to travel up when restored. Throughout the ruins, the saviour can find motes of light that contain the original power that was freed from the mountain all that time ago. Once collected, it increases the power of the saviour and gives them the ability to fly, and the more red cloth powers you have, the longer you can fly.
In the depths of the ruins, the saviour has to contend with the serpent monsters that hunt for the power, and having built that up, the saviour becomes a particularly tasty-looking morsel. They hunt underground and follow you up the mountain till you can break free. The mountain is treacherous and drains the power from the saviour till none is left and they collapse in the snow. The members of the race do come to your aid. They restore the saviour's power and propel them through the clouds and above those that hunt the light. The saviour breaks through the clouds and the summit of the mountain lies before them. The red cloth is allowed to flourish here, and we see the most diverse range of creatures. They chatter to each other as the saviour makes the last leg of their journey. Eventually they make it to the top of the mountain and into the light. The light fades, and there's a gravestone left in the snow.
So, the final destination of the journey is death. Now, it seems like a sad note to finish on, but the moment is a powerful one, and there is more behind it than that. The mountain produces another mote of light, another life. It travels back to the beginning, and as the sun rises, a new journey can begin. There are several messages the game tries to evoke, and although not new messages, it is done in such a powerful and unique way. The first and most obvious one is there is no boss battle or final confrontation. This is just because it's about the journey and not the destination, which kind of hence the name. It's about the obstacles faced along the way and overcoming them to get to your destination. Secondly is that death is not the end. Not only do you live on with the people you have met, but there is another life about to take the journey elsewhere. It also suggests that death may not be the final destination, and there may be another journey to be had elsewhere. Interestingly, there is a way to get the white robe seen on those that give you the visions, and that is to collect all Scarf upgrades. This even fits in with the lore as well. The white-robed members of the race have left their memories in stones to teach of their past and the lessons they learned through hardships. They are wise and are here to guide you. When you obtain the white robes, it suggests you've become equally wise and enlightened through your journeys of the world and through travelling with it. And possibly that also means age.
Mm-hmm. Now, we used a specific word when talking about how much the race could predict of the Saviour's journey. We said it appears. Now, I don't think it's a prophecy or a prediction of the future. I think it's actually a record of the journey of previous incarnations of the Saviour, and the race is simply showing the way through the journey. They've learned what needs to be done and are imparting advice to best reach the goal. I also believe that when the Saviour claps in the snow and the race support them and lift them up with their support, new heights are reached. So, in all, the game is a metaphor for the journey of life and the challenges that need to be overcome. So, in all, this game is a metaphor for the journey of life and the challenges that need to be overcome. Now, something that becomes apparent when researching the journey is such like the profound effect that it's had on people. You only need to go on YouTube, look at the walkthroughs, look at the things, and you see people. They say that the people they met on the journey, it is a multiplayer game.
Yeah. Although you never see a name, it is just a face that can ring bells.
Yeah. Well, it's because the names are told at the end, like who you've met along the way. But they say like some of those people they've made stronger friendships because they've like stopped to check that they're there and like gone along the whole journey with them. And a lot of people say that they've got quite emotional towards the end of the game. Because it's quite a strong message that the game tries to impart, and that's all from us today. So please make sure you go and play the amazing game. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like the video, as we do love making these for you.
Although before we just do finish, there is one last thing to note, and that's that civilization isn't restored. The race doesn't come back, and the monsters remain haunting the land. Do you think this means that there's some deeper meaning behind this that fits in with the theme? Or is it just the way that the game can be played as a cycle again and again? What do you guys think?